So I am going to talk a little bit before I actually get into the actual video. So if you don't care about what I'm about to say, then you can skip to the timestamp that I have on the screen that hopefully I remembered to put there. But anyway, obviously this is the end of the Hawks MyGM series. It was fun. It was a lot shorter and a lot easier than I expected it to be. Trey is a sim god, so that helps. But this is something I kind of wanted to do, just kind of like a look after, see what happens after the series is over. And I just wanted to thank you all for watching. Thank you all for, leaving likes. And I mean, it's really getting me a lot of views. The MyGM series is. It's my most consistent viewing video, and that's by far. The NBA stuff does like a fraction of the views. But I just really want to say thank you. So let's get right into this epilogue. That's what I'm calling it. So if you couldn't guess from last video, the Hawks won the championship, and so the series technically over. I just feel like winning a championship is the ultimate goal and is a good place to stop. I don't want any series I do to get stale. But this is something I wanted to do to almost provide closure and epilogue type video. I won't be controlling the team, everything will be automated, so we'll just see what happens to this team for however long I end up going. So yeah, we left off on a championship, and we'll go straight to the draft lottery, where you'll see something interesting. The Hawks have the #1 overall pick via OKC. I think that's that 2022 pick, and I'm pretty sure it's lottery protected in real life, but whatever, we'll leave it for interesting entertainment sake. So a team that just won the championship has the #1 overall pick. Absolutely nuts. This pick is extremely important for their future too, whether they trade it or use it. This is the Amani Bates draft after all. We'll just have to see. And they take Chet Holmgren. Wow, that is something. Does this mean Collins is expendable? I mean Gallinari too, but that's actually crazy. I figured it would be Amani Bates. But Holmgren is a 7-foot power forward who can shoot and is a decent defender. I don't really know much about him in real life, but he's probably good. In free agency, Trey and Herter came back for $34 and $13 million respectively. Great deals, if you ask me. One thing to also note is that Okongwu is technically better in overall than Capella now. He's definitely the better scorer and the more versatile defender, I would say. Maybe not as good in the low post. But we'll have to see if he has enough muscle to deal with the big guys down low. Then they also brought in Rubio for 3 years, $14 million. Kinda yikes. But whatever, this team is definitely better than they were last year, which is actually pretty crazy. I mean, look at the coach game plan. This team is deep. Expensive, very expensive, but deep. But 2K has the defending champions at 17 in the power rankings. What is that? None of that matters, though, because at the end of the season, the Hawks are 55 and 27, and Trey Young is your MVP. 32 points, 12.5 assists on 53, 45, 86 splits. Has to be one of, if not the best offensive seasons of all time from a player. The Hawks are the 1 seed going against Boston again. It was a tough series, but the Hawks came out on top in 7. Actually, the Celtics have Valanciunas and traded Romeo Langford for Bogdan Bogdanovic. So that was weird, but it wasn't enough for them to get past the reigning champions. Then they're going against the Hornets, who are pretty much the same as IRL plus Jared Allen, which means they're probably going to beat the Hawks. Yep, I called it. They still can't win the championship, though. That goes to Dallas. Then for the draft, the Hawks get some draft and stash guy with the 29th pick, and Middleton accepts his $40 million player option. I mean, what can you expect? Okongwu's team option was also accepted. Cam is a restricted free agent, so we'll see if he gets an offer, which I'm sure he will. So we'll look through free agency. Okay, 38-year-old LeBron going back to the Lakers. Nice. Shea's joining him there. Nice. Porzingis to the Bucks with Amani Bates, and I think Hunter is still there. Where's Cam? Oh, okay. 3 years, $65 million. That's pretty good, honestly. But Capella, he left the Hawks to go join James Harden in OKC this time. Wow. So this Hawks team is pretty much the same, though, except they brought in Alex Len to play backup center. Please just play Holmgren there. I don't want to see Alex Len play again for the Hawks. 2K has these guys at 19, even lower than last year, which I guess makes sense since they lost Capella, but still. Starting lineup, same as last year. I'm sure this team will still be very good. Well, they started 13-0 and then ended up like 22-1. They were 43-10 at the trade deadline, and they traded a 2026 first for Gary Harris to get some more defense. Clearly, it's worked out so far. It worked out even more considering Trey won his second straight MVP with the team going 63-19. Surely they won't lose to the Hornets in the second round this year. Okongwu actually was on all-defensive first team too, so that's cool. First up, we've got the Cavaliers with Westbrook and Drummond. Probably won't be too hard. Yeah, that's pretty much what I expected. But oh boy, the Hornets once again, same team plus old DJ. Hopefully that's no issue, and apparently it is not. Guess the Hawks are serious this season. But this Chicago team that they've got next is pretty deep. They've got a lot of guys off the bench, and I mean a lot. Plus old man Draymond on the bench to coach them up. So we'll go game by game, and it's a very closely contested series, going back and forth. But eventually the Hawks, they come out on top in 7 games. By far their biggest challenge of the playoffs so far. This Timberwolves team, it's not that good, so it shouldn't be a huge issue for this Hawks team. And I'm pretty sure the Timberwolves blew a 3-1 lead there, but that went by pretty fast, so who knows. But Trae Young, second title, second finals MVP. So moving on, there is a lot of notable names in the player retirements, but we're quite a few years into this thing. Side note, the Thunder have picks 3, 8, and 9 in this year's draft from Houston, Miami, and the Clippers. So that's good for them. John Collins declines his player option though, and Okongwu is a restricted free agent this year. This could be interesting. Here's some of the top free agents. Some interesting moves. Both Collins and Okongwu stay with the Hawks on pretty sizable deals. But here's a big deal. Middleton has left the Hawks for the Lakers, which makes sense because I doubt the Hawks could afford another $100+ million deal. But that's very interesting for this upcoming season. So this team is definitely quite a bit worse, but that's to be expected when you have to pay everybody. They've still got the core guys, but the next season is going to be rough for them. Okay, scratch that. They went like 56-26 and were the freaking 3 seed. That's nuts. Trey wasn't MVP, but Chet was All-NBA third team, which has definitely been extremely important for the Hawks because Collins hasn't been that second guy for them. Okongwu, another All-Defensive first team, and now the Celtics again. They have old man Paul George, but I doubt this will be a super tough series. Yep, 5 games. And then the Sixers team, still trash. Yep. Now the Bulls. Same team, same results. But this is what we've been waiting for, ladies and gentlemen. The Hawks Mavericks finals matchup. Except the Mavericks have freaking Karl Anthony Towns. So Luka, Cat, and Patrick Williams against Trey, Holmgren, and I guess Okongwu is their third best player. We'll see if Okongwu can match up physically with Cat. So we'll go game by game for the final series. Game 1, decisive win for Atlanta. Game 2, it was a bit closer, but still almost a double-digit win. Game 3 was another blowout. Dallas isn't even really putting up a fight. And then to close out the Mavericks in Game 4, the Hawks win by 1 point. And Trae Young wins his third title and third finals MVP at 26 years old. And with that finals matchup, I think this is a great place to stop. We got the matchup everybody wants in real life, and the Hawks won it pretty easily. I'm sure Trey, Holmgren, and Okongwu will be a great trio for years to come, but this is where we leave off on this Hawks MyGM series for good now. It was a fun ride, and even though this epilogue was a little short about the length of a normal video, but still we got about 3 years into this thing, and I think it was a cool insight to see what happened in the future. As for what's next on the channel, obviously there's going to be another MyGM series. I already know the team. I've been playing around with ideas for the series and how to upgrade it, make the thumbnails better, make the actual content better. If you have suggestions, please let me know. I just want to make it more interesting, make it different. Just have to figure out how to do those things, This is my first completed MyGM series, actually. I guess you could count the Timberwolves series if you really wanted to, but that wasn't really completed in my eyes, I guess. But But again, thank you for watching this series and sticking with me. This series brought me something near like 200 plus subscribers since it started, and probably a little more. So I'm hoping we'll continue to grow and have even better MyGM series in the future. So again, thank you. The next series will be out soon, and y'all have a good one.